I wish everybody again very good day. Today we have the pleasure to talk with Leif Lundström. A very good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming to the studio of Benalmadena. And our program, Lifestyle, we would like just to have some questions to you, if possible. What brings you to Benalmadena?
The weather.
The weather?
Yeah, mainly because when I retired, I decided I would not spend my winters in Finland, which is too cold for me, even if I'm Finn, and suggested then my wife that let's check a few places, and I went to Portugal, too cold, to Atlantic Ocean,
Yep.
Canary Islands, too far at that time because our daughter and grandchild and my mother was still living, and the flight connections from Canaries were much worse, for instance, in Costa del Sol or Malaga. Yep. And that's why we decided to come to Malaga. We spent 2 weeks in the hotel Amaragua in Benalmadena and looked around and ended up in our current place and bought a small townhouse, or what you call it, on the other side of there.
So, and that is since?
That was since 2001.
That means 21 years in Spain already.
Exactly, yeah.
Are you used to the Spanish culture? A little bit?
Well, yeah, I think it's not, the culture as far I see it is not that much different, because my culture is mainly the ways you behave in your everyday life, what you eat and what you do. I'm not too much of a cultural person in that sense that I will go to theaters or shows or flamenco shows or whatever. But so generally the lifestyle is very comfortable.
It's a good way to say that, because the program calls Lifestyle, and we would like just to know your lifestyle. About friends, Finnish friends, Spanish friends, a bit from all.
Yeah, that's is the problem, that our friends are mostly Finnish, some Swedes, and actually I would say that really friends, Spanish not at all, and that's mea culpa. I don't speak Spanish, and despite over the 20 years, I don't speak it fluently. So our only Spanish friends are the close neighbors, which we say, ¿Qué tal? Buenos días, and sometimes they come to repair something in my house or whatever. But generally they are Finns, and very, I've said a group maybe 100 people or so.
But you can help yourself in the Spanish language.
I can get my groceries with Spanish and of course a few words, but I think that if I have to discuss Dutch medieval art, that would not be possible in Spanish. Not even in Finnish either. But
Yeah. Is it so that your definitive residence, or you go back to Finland, or how is it? How do you do that?
When we came, we took a residence in Spain, and that was many say that due to the tax reasons, because I saved about 10% in taxes compared to Finland, but that was not the reason. Weather is the reason, taxes are not. And now it has changed so that I wouldn't get any benefit of any tax benefits anymore, even if I were in Spain, because the agreement between Spain and Finland is such that all the pensions are taxed in Finland wherever you live.
And normally in the daytime, your lifestyle, is that going well with the hospitals, with the doctors? I mean, you can make yourself understood to them, and how is that going?
Yes, so we never actually needed a interpreter, but when we were legally, so to speak, in Spain, or residents in Spain, we used, of course, the public health care.
Okay.
And there are some of the doctors we were assigned, they spoke English so that we could get along with them, and a few words in Spanish in between, so that went quite well. And then being member in the Helicópteros Sanitarios,
okay,
they of course speak English, and we have used their services also since. And fortunately, I have to say that we have had not many help from us so far.
When you were working in Finland and you had the time to retire, what was for you the time to say, I go to Spain? Did you thought that already many years ago, or was it just...
No, I thought many years ago that I retire somewhere where it's warm. And my favorite playground was Caribbean, but that of course was too far away and too expensive.
Yeah.
And then I said the Canary Islands, again a bit too far away. So Spain came more or less, it fulfilled all my requirements. There's warm enough, there's close enough, and the lifestyle and the, so to speak, the culture in that sense is familiar. I don't think that I would be home in Thailand or in the Arabic Emirates or any of these places. So Spain is that much close anyway. And of course, it might have influenced that it's a big Finnish community here, easy to come in.
Very big.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Fuengirola, the most of them,
Yeah.
isn't it? Huh? When you visit the Caribbean, what was for you the island or place to go?
British Virgin Islands and sailing. We used to rent a sailboat there every year for 2 weeks or so and sail around British Virgin Islands. Crossed over, of course, to US, also St. Thomas and so on, but mainly around the British Virgin Islands. And then another Caribbean spot favorite of mine is St. Martin, which is half Dutch and half French. And when I was stationed in New York for 10 years from 1975 to 85, every year in February, I flew commercially to Florida, rented a small Cessna 182 with my friend, and then we flew from Florida to St. Martin and all islands in between.
Oh, nice.
That was the life that I still remember, and even at my summer house in Finland, I have a picture on the wall from the Caribbean, from flying and sailing, and under there is a sign which says, I wrote there, the Boulevard of Broken Dreams. But my wife didn't like it, so I took that sign away.
It's a long way to fly. That's a problem for a lot of people. Yeah. And Spain offers, at least the Costa del Sol, what they always say, 300 sun hours a year. Or not a year, 300 days.
Yeah.
But I think if we might think in Spain, you can have the Costa Brava, the Costa Dorada, Benidorm and all his attractive stuff, but as well the Costa del Sol. I think the Costa del Sol is the most educated place to come and live and stay.
Yeah, it is, and also the geography has something to do with that. If you think about like the Benidorm, it's quite flat, quite long inland. It's flat, and there are huge hotel buildings and not that nice. But here, actually, from seaside to mountains almost 1,000 meters high, it's only 10 kilometers, 5 kilometers. And the buildings in Benalmadena, for instance, just the harbor, that's magnificent.
It's a magnificent
and
harbor,
a small, the pueblo, small village is nice. So I think the surroundings, as far as I've seen, are the best. I, of course, haven't traveled the whole Spain, but also then it had to be seaside for me. I'm a waterman, I like water, there has to be water around, so I couldn't go inland.
What about if you were alone at home or with your wife?
Yeah.
Are you still cooking the Finnish way, Spanish way, or both? You mix?
I think it's mostly the Finnish way, though.
Yeah?
Yeah, and we eat a lot at home. We don't eat too much in restaurants. We have some weekly meetings with the other Finns and our group, but generally, we, as much as possible, we eat home. But I have to say that we tend to cook Finnish. And there I have some problems, for instance, with the fishes, because they are different. And
what fish you like?
I like mostly, of course, salmon is a mainstay. And then, if I now would remember then if the Spanish name, that a few, and I like them, I don't like the bones, I like them filleted.
Okay.
So, but rather like smaller fish. I'm not so keen on tuna or big swordfish or stuff like that.
Do you like the fried, like boccherones,
fried,
for example?
No, boccherones again, it's like a Finnish, what's called Finland is silakka. But boccheroni to me is maybe too small.
Okay.
Although my wife prepares them sometimes so that I eat them, but that we don't have that much. But they are, and also I don't like the cod, the bacalaos and stuff like that. They're too soft to me. I like the fish. My favorite filet of sole.
Azor.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
lenguado.
Lenguado, sì.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Traditions. If we know we have in Benalmadena, we have traditions in Fuengirola and Torremolinos. Are you involved with that with your family, or you just
We are involved, not involved in that sense
Festivals,
inside,
I mean.
only on outside. We are watching them. If there's something
Yeah.
happening on, we
Okay,
might
okay.
walk around and look what's going on, and the parades and so on.
Yeah.
But we are not members of any group which participates actively.
Okay. What about Andalusia? Andalusia.
When we came in the first 5 years, or maybe 10 years even, we used to travel a lot by car. We drove around in not too far, but all these let's say one night stands here and there. But since let's say at least 5-6 years that's gone, we always think that we've been there. We've seen all the white villages there is to be seen, so we haven't traveled that much. But before we used to do so with the radius, let's say 300-400 kilometers all around, so whole Andalusia basically, even a bit outside. But for some reason, not anymore.
Okay. You know, Andalusia is like Holland, for example. Holland is the same size,
Yeah.
same square meter kilometers like Andalusia. Even Andalusia is a little bit bigger. How is that with Finland? Finland, how much square kilometers is Finland?
Finland is about 365,000 square kilometers. So it's, I think, when it's in Europe, if we exclude Russia or European part of Russia, but we have France, Spain, Germany, and Sweden, and then comes Finland.
Okay. How many inhabitants?
We are 5.5 million.
5.5 million.
So there's lots of space.
There's a lot of space. That means a lot of woods,
Yeah,
I suppose,
yeah,
lakes, etc.
Lakes, and but mainly, of course, wood.
Okay.
Yeah, forests.
Forest. You drive still a car?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Actually, where we live here is about 6 kilometers from the place we are sitting now.
Okay.
So a car is more or less a mandatory. The closest shop is, or the grocery stores are about 1.5 kilometers or so. You could, of course, walk or so, but there's no public transportation very close by. On 340, and there's some buses, but yes, you need a car here.
Okay. If you have a day off,
Which I have 7 days a week.
you like to go fishing, for example?
No, not really. I haven't really fished only when I was a kid in Finland. We had a summer house in Archipelago, and then I used to go some fishing with my father. But like the high seas fishing, even in Caribbean, I went once for shark fishing, but I didn't really like it.
I think, or what do you think, is lake fishing nicer than sea fishing?
That's the same, no difference to me.
No?
But for some reason I used to like sea. Even the Gulf of Finland is very small, it's like a big lake. But anyway, it's a sea, and I can think that the same water goes all the way to Australia. But if you go to the big lake, be it even Lake Baikal or whatever, that's a lake which has you can't get out anywhere.
If you came to Spain 21 years ago and you took the choice for Benalmadena,
Yeah.
have you seen other villages in Andalusia you said, well, there I would like to live maybe as well?
Yes, there are some, but I have to say that even I like to walk in the small Andalusian villages, the white villages,
Yep.
the tiny streets and the beautiful houses. But for some reason where I live, I need a lot of light and space in front of me. I don't want to be in a building where it's in 10 meters and there's another building. There has to be, so when I open my doors to my terrace or to my balcony, there has to be a lot of air in front of it.
Okay.
And that's why many of the small villages, except maybe those on the hill of the top of a hill, they usually are quite closely built. There are not that much of possibilities. And all the buildings, even I like to look at them, the old Spanish style, the carved, the white building, and so I prefer to live in a more like which is like
Open views.
open views and funkis style.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. All right. When you came here, you decided to stop in Finland. May I ask what was your job?
My last job was as the Vice President Marketing at Finnair.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
And you did it for how many years?
That job I held about, let's say, from 1985 to 98 when I retired. But and then before that was 10 years in the United States, and before then I have various jobs in Finnair in charter department and traffic planning and what have you.
So you did a lot of things, not only in Finland, but as well in other countries.
Actually, I was stationed only in the United States, but of course I traveled a lot due to my job.
Okay. So, are you a beach man? If I say in your free time, you have 7 days off.
Yeah.
If it's, well, you're going back to Finland, April, May.
Yeah.
But as well in March or sometimes February, April, we have nice days to go to the beach. Are you a man to go to the beach and lie in the sun or not?
No, I don't lie. I like to go to the beach, but I don't lay in the sun. I just walk around the beach, maybe sit around, go to a chiringuito where is a good view to the sea and eat there. But lying in the sun is past for me.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think as well there's still people from your age, from my age, and even, but most of the people, the young people, go and lie on the sand, lie on the sand, lie on the how do you say that, on the mattress, to be there for 4, 5, 6 hours.
Burn
I don't
themselves.
know.
Yeah.
Burn themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot.
Yeah.
I've seen it a lot. Have you ever tried the food paella?
To what? Sorry, what?
Paella?
Yes.
The rice?
And again, because I like fish.
Yes,
but
you said
I don't
that, yeah.
like seafood.
Okay.
I say that I don't eat anything which is ugly or goes backwards. That means crabs and shellfish and so on. But fish I like. But that's what paella often is with seafood, and that's why I don't really prefer it.
Okay. If we think the lifestyle here in Andalusia for you and your wife, what is your wife thinking of Andalusia?
I think she likes it. I think she likes it very much, and especially Benalmadena. And we many times had thought that we're driving around the other places, be it Torremolinos or Fuengirola, that we utilize the right place in Benalmadena and the surrounding. She likes it very much.
Okay. Have you ever been to Morocco?
Once in Casablanca, many years ago, but I have not been in let's say, during the time we spent in Spain, we have not been in Morocco.
Okay, because the chance to do it is only 14 kilometers by
That's right, yeah.
a very quick ship.
Yeah, and of course, but like Ceuta and Melilla, of course, are not Morocco itself.
No.
Yeah.
But I said maybe it's
No.
because I know people who say, okay, we go to it's a completely other style of life.
Yeah.
And it smells different, and the people are different like there as well. And
I spent, I said it's Casablanca, but also actually I was in Rabat. And I don't remember the year, but that was a year when there was a coup. They tried to get a coup against the king.
Oh, yes.
But it didn't succeed.
That's completely true. We remember the problems they had with Spain, the little rock called Perejil, and it was a real problem. Anyway, we talked about foods. What about tapas? You like them?
Oh yeah, depending what they are. If it's, for instance, like I don't like sushi. I don't like raw fish except if it's salmon. If it's grave lux, then it's okay. But tapas, Spanish tapas, I find them very nice too.
You have the typical tapas from Andalusia and the sushi, but that's from the last 10 years or something, or 15 years.
Yeah.
But I know that people like that very much.
Yeah.
And so, okay, about traveling. You traveled a lot. What was for you the most beautiful country you ever been?
I think there are so many beautiful countries, depending what part. Many countries have their ugly sides and their beautiful sides, and I can't really say. Let's say that most impressive sunset has been by Bosporus in Istanbul, and the other one in Lake Geneva, when it comes from the Mont Blanc, and maybe there's evening sky or night sky with stars somewhere in Acapulco in Mexico, and rising moon in the Caribbean, and when sitting in a sailboat and look at when it comes behind the mountain. So, but Finland has very nice countryside in the summertime, and then of course it's not massive like in mountainous countries like in Switzerland and Austria, but it's a different kind of beauty. I would not even use the word beauty, but I can't find a really magnificent. It looks different, but I can't pick a single one favorite as far as the scenery is concerned.
I can imagine. Do you have in Finland as well what they have in Norway, like the fjorden, or is that not really Finnish?
No, that's not. No, that we don't have. We have lots of lakes, but no fjords.
Okay.
No.
Your country is border with Russia.
That's right. We have almost 1,300 plus some kilometers.
Ooh.
Big border, yeah.
That's a big border.
It is, yeah.
Wow. We come back to Andalusia. What is for you a part of Benalmadena? I may think Ronda is a beautiful place to go.
Yeah, it is.
But what is for you the most beautiful? I don't want to say the most beautiful, but a white village that you say, wow, that's really beautiful.
There are a few which I can't remember the names, but would one be Comares?
Yeah, Comares
is one, and then there's some, but again I don't remember the names. But I like very much, for instance, the harbor in Malaga. I like that walking along the harbor in Malaga.
That's what they made new in the last.
Yeah, and the old town in Malaga. It's very nice place to spend a day or so.
Yeah. Mr. Lundström, what about Parque de la Paloma? Is that nice to go there with good time, of course?
It's nice to go there and walk around because there's a bit you get a bit difference in altitude too. You can walk up and down. Yeah. And it was already ready when we came in 2001. I remember it was quite ready, but then we heard stories that it used to be a gypsy camp or something, or earlier still in the.
I don't know.
Yeah,
could be.
Yeah, but now it's very nice, and I've been the first time in Benalmadena. That was not very early, but 1969, and I came here with my mother, and we flew first to Paris, and then we took a plane we were supposed to go to Canary Islands, but we couldn't get any seats, so we flew to Malaga. Not to Madrid. We flew to Madrid, and I rented a small Seat 600, and we drove non-stop from Madrid to Malaga. It took 11 hours on those days, and the streets were very, very curvy. And then we came, and I don't remember the hotel we were first night, but then we went to a place which is called Urizabal, owned by a Jewish couple, I guess. And I thought that we are in Torremolinos because everybody was that time in Torremolinos, and only when we came in 2001 and then a bit later we found out we actually were in Benalmadena. This place, but nobody knew anything about Benalmadena in 1969 in Finland at least.
True.
Everybody went to Torremolinos. Yes. There were songs about Torremolinos, not even that much on Fuengirolas yet. It was Torremolinos.
Torremolinos at that time even was more popular than Marbella.
Yeah. But today, now it's picking up again, but it used to be a bit, and still that part of Torremolinos, but used to be full of shops and stuff. It's quite, how should I say, disrupted and run down so far. They built the central part of it where the San Miguel and that square. That's nice.
That's not bad. Yeah. I like that as well.
Yeah, but the mile or so before that is still quite run down.
When you drove back when you came from Madrid to Benalmadena in a Fiat 600, how was that experience?
That was very well. I said the roads were quite bad. Of course, we took one coffee or so in between, and my mother, of course, is afraid of heights, So it was good that we arrived already in the evening at night time, so she couldn't see that there was a couple of 100 meters vertical drop from time to time. But it's okay. I like driving. I still like driving, but those days I liked even a bit more. So it was not stressing. It was fun.
I remember the Fiat 600 was a beautiful car in that time, in that period, and they still are there, renewed. But what would be for you, probably for the TV viewers, something interesting to say? I may tell something about this. Maybe they could like to hear this, or what about your experience, about your free time, whatever.
Well, yeah. Well, my free time I spent mostly. I never took a vacation in summertime in Finland, because when I worked there I had my weekdays and so on. So I always took in the winter time. And in winter time, of course, I went to go to a warm place. One of the favorites, of course, was Caribbean, and especially British Virgin Islands. And there we used to, with a couple of friends of mine, we used to rent a sailboat, and we sailed around and swimmed around and whatever. And then the other thing was, but that started only when I was in the United States between 75 and 85. I had a pilot license, so we used to fly to Florida.
You flew yourself?
We flew commercially to Florida, but then from a Fort Lauderdale executive airport, we rented a airplane, usually a Cessna 182, which is a four-seater retractable gear. And then we started to fly south and went over the Bahamas. And it's nice to see when you see it through the water, and you can see it, some airplanes which are landed to the water for the drug dealers would fly them as smugglers. And they land there, they go into the water. You can see the airplanes lying in the water, and then continue to I think it was Caicos Islands, and then to Dominican Republic. But we landed nowhere until it was a 5-hour flight, and we ended up usually in Saint Martin, that's French island, and spent a week there, swimming and snorkeling and diving. And I also took a scuba diving license, and we dove. There's a wreck of Ron, an old English mail ship which is sunken maybe 100 to 200 feet deep, and there we took diving trips. And
where was that?
That's in the Salt Island, close to small island called Salt Island, which is the British Virgin Islands. There was a hurricane in 1800 something, I don't remember the year, and this mail ship was anchored. But when the hurricane came, the captain chose to try to go to open seas to be more safe, but he didn't make it, and it sunk there in the, quite close to Salt Island. That now it's a wreck and one of the really famous sites of scuba divers in that area.
Okay, because I remember in the Dominican Republic, in Punta Cana, just in front there, as well as a ship was, I don't know, I think about 40 years ago, it was completely, you still see a little bit of it, and they go there for scuba diving as well.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's very nice for the people who go there, but a part of that, the fish, I mean, what you can see underwater is so amazing there.
It is there, and I never dive. I've been diving here in Spain, but I really wonder: is there something to see at the coast of Spain?
Well, I think if we take the Baleares, like Mallorca, Menorca, Ibiza, that's beautiful to have the diving there.
Yeah.
And as well, there are some places here on the Costa del Sol, but not really. You have to go out with the boat, and at least to have clear water.
Yeah.
But if you take the islands, even if you take Canarias, it's beautiful to dive there, and you see beautiful, absolutely beautiful and amazing things underwater. I think it's different, like here on the Costa del Sol. They go out here, as you know, with some ships to see the dolphins and
yeah,
things like that.
yeah.
Have you ever done that?
No, not here. But again, I actually have seen dolphins only when sailing in the Caribbean between St. Croix and British Virgin Islands, and then on some cruise ships. I have been a couple of cruise ships, taking a couple of cruises in the Caribbean too. So they sometimes see dolphins. But here we have scuba diving schools. Here even in Benalmadena
that's right.
or Fuengirola, and I wonder that where do they die? What's there to see? Because I don't think there's any coral. There's not flights of fish around. So what?
I don't know exactly what and where they're going, but I know that there are two schools at least. One is here and one in Fuengirola.
Yeah.
And I see them sometimes diving as well, for how they learn that for the first time in the swimming pool in Torremolinos.
Yeah.
And there's where they start diving, but I don't know where they go.
I don't know.
You don't know either.
No.
We will see where we can find out maybe something about that for the next time.
Yeah.
Mr. Lundström, the last years for you changed a lot in Spain? I'm talking about politics.
Not maybe personally in Spain, but of course in Finland generally.
Yeah.
And especially after the February attack to Ukraine was something which alerted Finns, and of course me too. Even though I have to say that during all the years when we were neighbors of Soviet Union, I never felt that we are in any kind of danger. And I remember once when an American asked my boss at that time, the chief at Finnair, that are we not worried about that there's about 100 or 200,000 Russian soldiers just on the other side of the border. He answered that that's exactly where they should be. And as long as they're not coming over, we have no problems. But since the early, this new 2000, 2001, during Putin's time more or less, the things have gotten a bit more alerting, and especially now after February, many Finns are very concerned that are we the next. And that can be seen, for instance, in the polls in the favor of NATO, joining NATO, that still a year ago, maybe 30% or 25% of Finns were in mind that we should join NATO. After February, it's 85.
Yep.
So that also, in many ways, I think that some of the boom, which then started here again, that people are moving to Spain and buying property here, at least when we talk about Finland, has something to do with the fact that people are alert, that Spain is so far away that it's safe in whatever comes, unless it's a nuclear war. So that really has get people on toe, even though I believe that considering and looking and reading what's going on in Ukraine today, Russians do not have the power or capability for many years to think anything else, something like in Finland or the Baltic countries or so, if they are still on this conquering spree. But still, it's concerning. And of course, the effects of our personal life has been, in the whole Europe, have been more dramatic in the price of electric currency and the brist of all kind of the prices have gone up, inflation gone up, and especially, of course, this lack of electric power.
Is for you to live in Spain is money-wise very good to do?
It is, in sense that, of course, the average salaries, for instance, or pensions, so to speak, in Finland are somewhat bigger than in Spain.
Yeah.
So we are coming here to a price level which is lower than in Finland, but even we are earning the money like in Finland. So in that sense, Spain makes sense. There's of course many countries in the world which would be less expensive. Go to Philippines or go to anywhere else, you really would feel like a rich man there. But still in Spain, I would say that the difference in cost of living, in my case, for instance, about 20-25%. It comes mainly in daily goods and services, be it then the barber shop or be it a food, what you buy in the Mercadona.
Yeah, whatever supermarket you go into.
Clothing and so on.
Yeah. And is it the same in Finland like here, that everything is increasing? If we talk, well, of course, petrol, goods. Is that the same in your country?
Oh yeah, of course, and especially I think when you mentioned petrol, that's even higher than here. It's always been higher. We are taxes more or less, but the inflation. Actually, on the other hand, in Finland, I think we had an inflation somewhere between 6 and 8% now lately, which is lower than in many European countries, but still it's there. And of course, when we're living in the north, in a cold environment, there's some things you need more, especially heat. Or even if to build roads, you have to build them completely different, like to build them here in southern countries. Yep. And you need clothing. You don't walk in shorts and t-shirts 9 months a year. So it's in that sense, living in Finland is costly compared to Spain, for instance.
I can imagine, but the Finnish people here, at least so far as I know, how many Finnish people living here in the area? Do you have any idea?
I believe that, of course, that in wintertime, when we're talking about Costa del Sol, we are talking figures between 30,000 and 40,000. And in summertime, of course, less, but still there are so many Finns lately, they have been moving here to work. And of course, many Finnish companies have been establishing, like especially their phone services here, that many times if you call, let's say, even some Finnish authorities, and you think you're talking with somebody who is in Finland, but you're talking to somebody who's sitting in Fuengirola. Because these days, of course, with the communication, it doesn't really matter. You can work in many jobs as such that you do them anywhere in the world.
Computer-wise,
Yeah, and even the salaries are a bit lower, but many, especially in the younger end of the Finns, they're moving here due to the weather. The free time is easier here. When it's no snow, you can go to the beach and you can play volleyball and you can do whatever. And even the salary is lower, so are the costs of living. So they may be doing as well as here as in Finland.
I think that's absolutely true because a lot of people from the European community, what you just said, come to Spain just with a computer, sitting and do the job.
Yeah.
In Malaga city, the last year increased thousands of foreigners who came here to work for other countries, for other companies, whatever. And just what you said, it's much better for the weather. Maybe I don't want to say the food, but it's just the weather.
Yeah, maybe. And also, I think Malaga is now trying to establish itself as some kind of high-tech city, and many companies are establishing their headquarters or especially their computer centers in Malaga, and that of course lures then more and more people down.
I think it's not a bad idea, so it's good. But let's say if we have the Finnish people who live here, all of them have properties, or do they rent?
Both, and I think that I don't know the figures, but I believe that those who are spending their winters here, maybe 2 out of 3 have their own home.
Okay.
And the third then rents.
Yeah.
And sometimes, often from the same landlord for years after year, they reserve it already for the next winter when they leave in the spring.
So if we still go around with our mind and think that the Finnish people like the Costa del Sol a lot,
they do,
and it's good health as well for them, because I can imagine that people who come from Finland, or not even from Finland, but for any other country who have health problems, the weather here is excellent for them.
Yeah, sure. That's I think of course the lure for most of the Finns too. And how is it grown? Even in 21 years ago when we came, there was only, was it 1 or 2 regular flights to Malaga, mostly charter flights only. And today, even to Finland, there are about 40, maybe 20 flights a week. back and forth, and they are mostly full all the time. So it can't be that it's only the vacationers who come in the fall and leave in the spring, but there must be a community who flies back and forth, or their relatives, their mothers and fathers and sisters and kids and so on. So there's quite a lot of traffic between Finland and Costa del Sol these days, and that means that there has to be at least 30,000-40,000 people in the winter.
We are very close to, or let's say, if we talk about Christmas,
Yeah.
what means that for you? Finland or Spain?
It used to be Finland. We spent 1 or 2 Christmases here in the beginning of when we came, but then have always been there due to the granddaughter who demanded that. Now she's 14, and when we asked that how about if we don't come this winter, we spend it here, no reaction. That's okay, so fine. Then now we're staying here for the Christmas.
Okay.
But the traditions will be the same. Of course, we have the gravlax and some cod roe and maybe ham, but Finnish style of food due to Christmas. But I understand that in Spain, like it was in the United States also, that many people don't spend their Christmas Eve, that evening or 24th, home, but they go to restaurants with groups and friends and relatives and eat there. And that's something new to us. I don't think I have been eating out on a Christmas Eve except 1 year when we were on a cruise in the Caribbean on Christmas. But generally it's always been at home.
Home?
Yeah.
With the family?
Yeah.
Holy Week, what does that mean to you?
Not much. I belong to the Lutheran Church of Finland, but I'm not a very religious in that sense. So the Holy Week is that we go and look if there's any celebrations, or we go to look at parades and so on, but it's not emotionally meaning too much.
So come back to Andalusia and say, let's say, if we have the time to live, would your last days, maybe a strange question, but your last days to spend here or in your own country? If it comes to, you never hope, but to say, I would like to go back to my country where I was born, or?
I think I will go back there anyway, because as we spent about the healthcare and so on. Yeah. So when it gets worse and you need that more, due to the reasons we discussed, the language and so on, I think that will be in Finland.
It will be in Finland?
Yeah.
Definitely?
Definitely, yeah.
Okay. Mr. Lundström, I would like to thank you very much for this interview.
Well, thank you for you. It's nice to come.
No, it was, thank you so much to be here. You are a guest, and I hope it goes you very well. I hope the climb you still like in Spain and here on the Costa del Sol. So all the best for you, your wife and your family.
Thank you very much.
Okay, pleasure. Thanks for being here, what I've told you, Mr. Lundström. And to all the TV viewers, thank you so much for watching Once More Lifestyle. We're coming back soon to you and hope to see you back. Thank you so much.